It's been a long time, but Philadelphia fans never forget. They've been anticipating for months, and tonight, Deshaun Jackson makes his return to the field here at Lincoln Financial.
So what are you going to do? You're here for a reason, for one common goal, and we all know what that is. To hold that trophy and get back there again.
Wentz is going deep, and it is caught by Deshaun Jackson.
We know who we are. We about to show the world who we are. Put it out there.
He's hit. He's sacked.
Fletcher Cox.
Put it on the line. Everything you got. Introduce it to our brand of football, man.
Eagles preseason football and game number 3 of this 2019 preseason as the Eagles tonight take on the Baltimore Ravens. Glad to be here with you, and these two teams certainly got to know each other this week. You had two teams that practiced 2 days. They went hard, a lot of reps on both sides. What that means is we're going to see some guys tonight that got an opportunity to get work in this week and are going to work again this evening.
Exactly. It's going to be awesome. We're going to see some guys for the first time here in preseason. Deshaun Jackson, Alshon Jeffrey, Nelson Aguilar, all of the wide receivers will be out there. 4/5 of the starting offensive line will get a chance to play tonight. And Corey Clement, who hasn't played yet in the preseason, remember him being the Super Bowl hero a couple years ago. He's expected to get a lot of action tonight. Should be fun.
Now, Carson Wentz got about 80 reps against defense that he hadn't seen before this week, so he's not playing tonight. The guy who is playing tonight, however, is the recent addition and a guy who's seen an awful lot of time in the National Football League. He's going to get his first snaps as an Eagle tonight.
Right, Josh McCown, 18th year in the NFL, just signed a few days ago, but he told us he's ready to go. They have a small package of plays for him. We know over the years, Scott, that is one position where the Philadelphia Eagles refuse to take any chances. They want to make sure they're always covered, which is why they signed a reliable vet like McCown.
Now, on the other side of the ball, we saw some defensive starters last week. We're going to see them again this week, but one very big addition to the starting lineup tonight.
Rodney McLeod, a safety who plays opposite Malcolm Jenkins, and really the only safety, Scott, that's truly a middle-of-the-field free safety type. He got hurt a year ago. Huge for that defense to get number 23 back on the back end.
So on a very, very warm night at the end of a very long week with two teams getting to know one another, the Eagles and the Ravens get set for preseason game number 3. We'll be back with the lineups and the kickoff in just a moment. Well, it is the month of August, so you know it's going to be warm. 86 degrees here at Lincoln Financial Field tonight, but the forecast right now is clear, and it looks like we're going to get away without any kind of precipitation before this night comes to an end. Third man of our broadcast crew is downstairs. We take you down to Dave Spadaro. Dave?
Thanks so much, Scott. I thought the weather report was my job. Jeez. The quarterback situation is so interesting. A lot of people wonder if Josh McCown will automatically be the number 2 quarterback when the regular season begins. The truth is that Doug Peterson has not yet made a decision. They want to see McCown in action running this Eagles offense. They want to see how Nate Sudfeld feels when he comes back early in the regular season. Much work to be done at a quarterback position where there are 4 players on the roster, and the Eagles will not take 4 into the regular season. Stay with us here in the first quarter. Carson Wentz will join me live on the sidelines to talk about his statement. He says he is ready for the regular season right now. Scott, back to you.
That's good news, obviously, for everybody involved, is that Wentz, as we said, got a lot of reps this week, and he talked about the fact that, he was seeing a different look than he normally sees, and that kind of a change, just even emotionally at this point, after so many reps against your own teammates, that in and of itself is going to be something that picks you up.
He's had a really nice camp. Everyone you talk to around the organization has said that. I think the Eagles really want to take a long look at Kessler, McCown, and Thorsten tonight. Plus, Doug Peterson didn't say this, Scott, but with Lane Johnson not playing tonight, with what's happened the last couple weeks, my guess is they don't want to take any chances with number 11, and I don't blame them. I wouldn't either.
There's an interesting move as Miles Sanders will be back to return this kickoff. We are going to see, as we said, a lot of Corey Clement tonight. Probably will not see Jordan Howard this evening, who's gotten a lot of reps over the course of the couple of games, and of course this week against Baltimore. Matt Collins, a guy who is back to full playing speed, and we've seen him, probably see an awful lot of him tonight as well. Preseason game number 3 underway. And Sanders will rightfully take a knee halfway back in the end zone, a touchback to start it out. So the guy making the start at quarterback is none other than Cody Kessler. We were worried last week when we saw him leave the field and not return in Jacksonville that it might be a while that he'd be involved in the concussion protocol, but he bounced back very quickly. He did, and he knows the offense very well. That's the guy that Peterson and the Eagles elected to go with the starting offensive line. 4/5 of them, Jason Peters, all the guys that are healthy. No Brandon Brooks, no Lane Johnson. Neither one of those guys quite ready yet. So Kessler going to work with the ones. And it's Clement right up the middle for 4, the first carry of the game. Take a look at the starting lineups brought to you by Ticketmaster, the only official resale marketplace of the NFL where 100% of the tickets are verified by Ticketmaster. Visit Ticketmaster.com/Eagles. Told you about the starters on the offensive line. The other guys, it's kind of really nice to see out there. Deshaun Jackson, Nelson Aguilar, Alshon Jeffrey, and Zach Ertz all starting this game. On second down, Kessler. And just a little bit too strong and too tall for Jackson over on the near sideline, bringing up third down. Little late with the throw as well was Kessler. And just having Deshaun Jackson on the big screen here gets a cheer from these fans. Man, they really love him. And everyone we talk to within the organization, coaches, players, they all brought him up. Man, we asked Jason Kelsey yesterday what player stood out to him in training camp. He said Deshaun Jackson. He said he's better than when he was here the first time. He can do more things. Last played as an Eagle in 2013, now back again, and he's up at the top of the screen now on this third down. And back to the ground. Clement's got some room to run. He's got a first down, and he bounces his way outside the 40. Good job of opening up a running lane for Clement on that third down carry. Watch Big V right here, the right guard filling in for Brandon Brooks. He's going to pull a nice block by Mailata, and Big V out there in space has done a really nice job at right guard. They look at him as the starter right now, not knowing when Brandon Brooks will come back from that torn Achilles that he suffered against the Saints in the playoffs. Good news is that Brooks is working. It's not right now clear when he is going to come back, but he's on the way. Looked pretty good in one-on-ones against the Ravens this week in practice. Blitz is coming. Clement trying to turn a corner. Oh, and he is blown up along the outside. Marlon Humphrey comes up from the cornerback position for a loss of 1. Clement is going to get a lot of run tonight because they really want to see where he's at. He is competing for the 4th running back spot. You know, Miles Sanders, Jordan Howard, Darren Sproles, I think their spots are all secured. Clement is going against Wendell Smallwood and Boston Scott, Josh Adams, trying to prove tonight he is the guy to be that 4th running back. Second down and 11, and wow, that didn't work at all.
False start. Offense number 10, 5-yard penalty, second down.
Sean Hockley, tonight's referee. Kessler tried to go with a hard count there, but I think 2 or 3 guys actually jumped. That sometimes happens with a new quarterback. Look at the running backs that the Eagles have. I'm not sure there's another team in training camp that has that many guys that are worthy of being on a roster somewhere. That's a point that Doug Peterson was making, talking to us yesterday. Now Kessler buying some time, finds the open man. It's Ertz, and positive yardage out across the 45-yard line up near the 47. Well, if you wanted to know how the starting offensive line would look, the answer is pretty good. I mean, Cody Kessler has as much time as he could ever want back there. Those guys up front are just locking down the Ravens. Isaac Seumalo, the left guard, has had an outstanding camp. He just keeps getting better and better. Well, it's third down now. They got to make it to the midfield stripe to move the sticks. And again, back to the ground on third down. This time the hole does not open. And no gain on the play. Jason Peters pulled from his left tackle spot, and I thought there was a hole right behind him. If Clement had bounced it outside to the right,
a little bit more.
They're going to go for it here on 4th down on their side of the field. Crowd loves it.
At a minimum, they might try to get the Ravens to jump off sides here.
Looks like that's what they're doing, at least initially. But they do snap the football. Delay blitz coming. Kessler can't get rid of it. And that is a big-time sack that's going to give the Ravens the ball inside the Eagles' 40.
So Cody Kessler absolutely has to get rid of the ball there one way or the other. They brought the pressure off the edge. He's got to unload it right away. It's 4th down. Just throw it up to somebody and give one of your guys a chance.
Light. Keep it crisp. Now we told you you're going to get your first look at Rodney McLeod, and he is back ready to go. And defense going to have their work cut out for them as Baltimore takes over at the Eagles 39. Short field for the Ravens now, and plenty of work to do for the Eagles, largely starting defense. Remember, there's still a number of players who will be starters that are not out there right now as they continue to work their way back from injury. First throw from Trace McSorley. Near side, and Marquise Brown makes the catch for Baltimore. Well, Malcolm Jenkins getting a start once again. The Eagles' defensive line. Jackson and Ridgeway inside, Graham and Curry on the outside. Linebacking core with Gary, Zach Brown, and L.J. Fort. Douglas and Jones are the corners. Jenkins and McLeod are the safeties. On 2nd down, a 2-back set. That's a tremendous bootleg by McSorley, who has an easy 1st down. Good job of taking care of the football, hiding the football from the defense.
Take a look at Brandon Graham right there. They're going to run the boot away from him. Graham's trying to close down the line. But this is one of the reasons why you want to get some snaps against mobile quarterbacks, whether it's Lamar Jackson or Trace McSorley. And now the Ravens are showing a weird formation.
Very strange formation, and they're running out of that formation. Justice Hill pounding into the middle of the line for a gain of about a yard.
That kind of looks like the formation that they were upset that the Patriots used against them in the playoffs that one year. Remember that?
Can't beat them, join them.
They were up by a couple touchdowns. Patriots came back with all those funky formations. Good to see Timmy Jernigan out there, Malik Jackson. Now, Jason Kelsey told us yesterday he doesn't think there's a team in the league that has the defensive tackle rotation that the Birds do with Jernigan, Malik Jackson, and Fletcher Cox. I mean, all 3 of those guys are legit pass rushers. You don't see that very often.
Man in motion on 2nd down. Jet sweep blown up. Completely blown up by Brandon Graham. Fooled him once, not the 2nd time.
So well done by Graham. Check him out right there. There's going to be action away, but he feels it and gets right upfield and just swallows him up. Man, that is not easy because there was a key telling him to go down the line to chase like he did on the bootleg. But that time he was ready for it, saw the jet sweep action coming back the other way. Nice to see him healthy. He got off to a slow start last year, Scott, because he was coming off of an injury, but kind of came along as the season went. And last week he was good against the Jags and makes another play here.
Here they come. And McSorley keeps the play alive and throws it away. That was good pressure on the quarterback and good coverage downfield. So, on 4th down, one of the strongest legs and the most accurate leg in NFL history will come out and try to put Baltimore on the board.
Justin Tucker, we're not related, but I claim it sometimes because he's so good.
You should.
He was making 70-yarders in pregame. I'm not kidding.
I saw him easily hit from 60. Plus, the man can sing opera in 7 different languages. And he's like a machine. Drills that one from 49, and Ravens take advantage of the field position.
Mentioned earlier, Scott, Deshaun Jackson back with the Birds. He's always been able to do this. A deep post where he just threatens the corner to that side and blows past him. He is still the best deep ball receiver in the NFL, even though he's in his 30s. But the thing that's different this time around is how good of a route runner he's become as he's gotten older. Watch him run off against Trufant from the Falcons and then run a deep in cut. They call that a dig. That is a lot of separation right there. And it's amazing over the course of the last few weeks how many different people told us how much better he is as a route runner than his first stint here with the Eagles.
Ross's tape breakdowns tonight are presented by Wawa. Sean Jackson coming after Mike Quick, the third spot.
Think about where his numbers would be if he had been here the whole time.
Austin Scott back deep to take this kick. He's not going to touch it. It goes flying out of the back of the end zone. And the starting offensive line is coming out for this second drive now as well.
Talking with Jason Kelsey yesterday, he was kind of excited to get some action. You know, he said that the practices are great. They got really good work done against the Ravens in the joint practices because the Ravens run a different defense, whereas the Eagles are constantly penetrating. The Ravens are more playing along the line of scrimmage. He said you get so used to all the fastballs from his own defense. It was nice to see some change-ups this week in practice, but he wanted to go through the game routine just so week one wasn't the first time for him.
With a man in motion, Kessler looks back to the middle, and right there, Arcega-Whiteside for a first down. Out across the 40, up to the 43-yard line for a pickup of 18.
Arcega-Whiteside, right side of your screen, the rookie from Stanford. He's going to run an in-cut right there. He's got the big body, nice hands catch, and then look at the run after catch. I mean, he's going against Jimmy Smith and Tony Jefferson there. The Ravens' strength on defense is their D tackles and their secondary. Jimmy Smith and Tony Jefferson are two of the best in the league at their position. That's a great sign for the young bird.
Kessler, oh wow. That was behind the line of scrimmage and was also, well, that would have been a fumble had it actually stayed on the ground because he threw that ball backward. It's going to be a big loss in the play all the way back to the 33.
That was ugly, and that's the kind of negative play that Doug Peterson really wants to avoid because it makes it so difficult to come back from that and get a first down now. They're trying to get the ball to Clement. They really want to see what he's got and make sure he's good to go as the fourth running back. So the play was designed to try to get the ball to number 30 in space there.
Well, second down and a bunch now. Here comes the blitz. Came hot to this side. And a little bit of extra on the way out of bounds for Nelson Aguilar. Let's take it down to Dave Spadaro.
You know, Scott, you mentioned Brandon Brooks, the two-time Pro Bowl right guard, and the progress that he's made. Cleared for one-on-one drills. Gave me the thumbs up, said things went great last week. Now the next step will be to get cleared for full team workouts. We'll see when that happens, but Brooks is confident and very hopeful that he'll be ready for the Redskins on September 8th.
Something we'll have to wait and see in terms of timing, but clearly being able to get that offensive line together intact for game one would be a blessing. Third down at 17. Kessler has a little time, buys a little more, and throws it away. Flag on the play on the far side of the field.
Pretty good coverage there by the Ravens. And Kessler could not find anybody.
Illegal formation. Offense, number 68. That penalty's declined. It's fourth down.
That was called on Mailata. And this time on fourth down with a bunch to go, the Eagles are going to punt it away.
Not what Doug Peterson was looking for there with these first two drives. I think he was hoping that they could get a little more going, but the negative plays and the penalties have really set them back on both these first two drives.
Johnston, a booming kick. Cyrus Jones over near the sideline, has a little bit of space to try to return it. Flag down on the play. Jones coming all the way back near side. A good job of getting positive yardage out across the 25. A 15-yard return. We'll have to wait and see what that flag is about.
During the kick, holding, return team number 99. A penalty will be enforced 10 yards from the end of the kick. It's first down. Timeout.
So the Ravens start a little deeper in their own territory for their second drive of the game. 3-0 lead for Baltimore here in the first.
Showed you what Deshaun Jackson could do on the offensive side of the ball. How about Malik Jackson on the defensive side? But watch his hands right here. Just shedding the center right there, snatching him down. So athletic for a D tackle. You'll see it again, the explosive ability and the hands. Watch the club arm over, right hand club, left hand over. He's tall enough to be able to do that and chase down a quarterback like Deshaun Watson. I said it earlier, Scott, I'll say it again. I'm not aware of a team in the NFL that has 3 legitimate pass rushers from the defensive tackle position like the Eagles with Fletcher Cox, Timmy Jernigan, and Malik Jackson. There aren't a ton of D tackles that can make the 2 plays you just saw Malik Jackson make last year.
Ross's tape breakdowns tonight presented by Wawa. Don't want to forget Malik Jackson was part of a suffocating defense in his days with the Denver Broncos, won a Super Bowl championship and scored a touchdown on a fumble recovery in Super Bowl 50. Baltimore pinned back at their own 6-yard line. Good penetration to the backfield by Vinny Curry. And a loss of 2 yards on that first play. L.J. Ford gets the tackle.
2 good things here. First Vinny Curry and then L.J. Ford. Watch the penetration by Curry to make the running back bubble, and then you'll see Ford. He's going to come, slide outside. That's called scraping. And the one thing we've seen from Ford so far in the preseason, he can run. I mean, that kid can roll, which is why he's going to be a demon on special teams and provide excellent depth at linebacker.
4-man rush coming. And McSorley gets rid of it quickly. Juggling catch. That's going to end up being positive yardage on the play. Let's go back down to Dave Spadaro.
Well, I'm here with quarterback Carson Wentz. Carson, what do you think you've accomplished in this offseason?
Yeah, I mean, it's been a long offseason, a lot of hard work put in, but physically I feel great. You know, I put a lot of time into rehabbing and just staying on top of these injuries that I've had and getting to this point. So I feel really good where I'm at physically, put a lot of time in with these guys to develop timing and trust and everything. So I feel really good where we're at.
Why do you think you're ready for September 8th right now?
Just because all the work we put in, you know, going back to OTAs in the spring, all through the summer, even having the receivers out, working together in the summer, and then all through training camp. You know, we put in a lot of hard work against our defense, had the Ravens in at practice this last week, so it's just been a lot of timing and a lot of work that we put in, and I think we're all pretty confident where we're at.
No pads for Carson Wentz tonight. That means he's not going to play. So what do you do on the sidelines here?
Just try and help out. You know, just try and be engaged and help the younger quarterbacks, the other guys out, help them what they're seeing, the same way you would if you're a backup or anything else. And all I know is September 8th can't come soon enough.
Carson Wentz, thanks so much.
Thanks, Dave.
Have a great season. All right, Carson Wentz there. Scott, back to you.
Yep, September 8th can't come soon enough for anybody. Boston Scott waving for a fair catch on the punt by Cook, and the Eagles will have good field position just outside their own 41-yard line. Look who's coming next. Gatorade, carbs to refuel, electrolytes to replenish. There's the offensive huddle. And there are some very big guys out for their third offensive series. That's good news for that guy, number 18. Going to get a little help from some of his newest friends as he makes his Eagles debut. Josh McCown, 40 years old, just out of retirement, and signed a few days ago.
Look at 11 NFL teams. He even played in the UFL for a year.
And handing off on first down, the offensive line creating some space for Corey Clement in a 5-yard gain.
Clement looks like he's got some juice. That's a good sign right there. Left side got some push and a couple jump cuts by Corey Clement. Already looks more like the guy he was in 17 than last year when he was banged up most of the season.
Into the backfield again. That ball through the hands of McCown, and he's going to have to decide to take a knee, or more accurately a chest, as he falls down on the 40.
You know, I wonder how many snaps Jason Kelsey's taking with Cody Kessler or Josh McCown.
He told us not many.
Yeah, I mean, he's usually working with Carson Wentz in practice. Kelsey told us he's got a baby coming in a month.
Yep.
He's working on an awesome Joe Dirt haircut right now, but he said his wife's going to make him cut it when the baby comes. So he's got 1 month to go left with that haircut.
He honestly looks really good. Scott Hollywood. Ooh, wow. That's an incomplete pass. Cyrus Jones got in, and had he caught that ball, it might have been a foot race to the end zone the other way. Baltimore saw that play, and they knew it was coming.
I was going to say, kind of a smart play by Jones. You know, they got a quarterback coming in that's only been there a couple days. Jones is going to jump this route. He knew it was supposed to be a safe play. Matt Collins not able to make the block because Jones just read it so quickly. He's really reading the quarterback's drop and body language there.
Johnston's punt. There is Bonds. And on the return, Terrell Bonds gets it out across the 25. Visit PhiladelphiaEagles.com/NFL100 to cast your vote for the Eagles' best play ever. Is there any doubt in your mind what's going to win this one?
Well, I would imagine the Philly special, but I like the one where Bednarik clothesline Frank Gifford back in the day.
I think a lot of people like that one too, but I also think that when you win a Super Bowl and it's one of the most iconic plays, I mean, NFL 100 is talking about that play themselves.
Right, plus the Bednarik play was what, 47 years ago, 57 years ago?
First down for the 28-yard line. McSorley has some time. And an open receiver. That's going to be big gain down that sideline. All the way down to the Eagles 30 for rookie Miles Boykin, who came wide open. And a rookie out of Notre Dame with yards after the catch down to the Philadelphia 28.
Boykin's been impressive throughout camp. Check him out. Top of your screen. He's going to run off. Douglas is in zone coverage. Rasul Douglas gets turned around and then missed tackles there by Malcolm Jenkins and Rasul Douglas. It's one of the flaws with playing off as much as Douglas did there and getting turned around. Not only are you that far away that you can't make a play on the football, there's a lot of space there for the receiver to make a move after he catches it.
After that 44-yard gain, right back to the air they go, and Marquise Brown with the catch takes it down to the 23 for a pickup of 5.
If you're Rasul Douglas, you got to put the bad play behind you. He's still a young player. It's year 3. We always used to say, Scott, you can have a bad play, you can't have a bad day. He has been excellent in camp. He's always had the physical ability. But what Malcolm Jenkins told us is he's really gotten better and better with the football IQ stuff.
Now all kinds of pointing going on. And a flag before the snap of the football.
Neutral zone infraction. Defense number 47. 5-yard penalty results in a first down.
Nate Gary was pointing the other way, but the tight end for the Ravens was pointing directly at him. The officials agree with Nick Boyle.
Well, Gary was blitzing, but I'm not so sure he got into the neutral zone, but obviously that side judge has a better look than I do.
So first down now from the 18. McSorley with a big rush coming, throws it away. Moore was in motion and very well covered, and McSorley had no time to try to set his feet or even think about looking downfield.
We saw Malcolm Jenkins, football intelligence last week. Watch this. He's going to see the play action go away from him, but as soon as he sees that wide receiver come back, he redirects, puts his right foot in the ground, and gets upfield. Well done by Jenkins. He told us that's one of the best things about going against the Ravens was the fact that they had a mobile quarterback and ran a 2-back offense so they could get some reps against that.
We haven't seen a whole lot of it. It's a look that they are going to see during the course of the year. Welcome back, Rodney McLeod.
Man, is that a good sign. Take a look at Rodney McLeod right here. He's best known for what he does in the middle of the field deep, but he IDs this. Zone read, gets outside, goes down the line, and McSorley ran a 4.5 at the combine, and McLeod just hawked him down. So if there was any question about that surgically repaired knee, there really shouldn't be with the speed number 23 flash there.
Third down with a flag on the play. The pass across the middle is complete, short of first down yardage to Justice Hill. Now we'll see about the flag that came right at the snap of the football. Avonte Maddox making the play for the Eagles.
Illegal shift. The entire offense was not set before the snap. 5-yard penalty. Replay, third down.
See, you're not singling one guy out. The entire offense wasn't set. So the first quarter now in the books. And the Ravens still in the red zone with a 3-0 lead. Maybe you saw this. Carly Lloyd, 55-yard field goal. That is unbelievable. Great form, maybe an extra step or two, but nonetheless, how about that? And Carly Lloyd and her teammates will be here in Lincoln Financial Field. The friendly match coming up next week. We're looking to get 44,101 here to make it the biggest attendance of all time. Make history with us.
I think we can do it. Those girls deserve it.
That's the guy who actually helped her a bit. He gave her a little bit of coaching.
That's what my question would be is, had she ever done that before? Or was that like her first time? Because that was really impressive. She crushed it right down the middle.
Apparently crushed a number of them right down the middle. Conversation continues between head coach and his new quarterback.
Looking down at the sideline, Scott, it looks like the starting offensive line is going out there yet again. I think they want to have the starters out there with Josh McCown.
I agree. Thorson warming up. There will be a time at some point or other when he comes into the game, and this one will probably be his the rest of the way. The kickoff. Austin Scott going to try and return this one. Coming near side, a flag down on the play. Have to wait and see about the flag.
During the return, holding by the receiving team, number 85. 10-yard penalty, first down.
And one of the things that Doug Peterson was talking about with us was mistakes. And there have been a couple of penalties. There have been a couple of missed assignments. Offensively, it really has not been smooth over the course of this first quarter plus for the Eagles.
No, I think he's going to be a little frustrated. Now, let's remember, Cody Kessler doesn't have a lot of time in this system. Josh McCown just got here. But Coach told us he thought the execution last week against the Jaguars was great. Just the penalties was the glaring stat. And that's come up here so far in this game as well. Let's see if they can get a clean drive going.
We've talked to him 3 times now here in this preseason, and the penalty theme is something that has become increasingly urgent as we get closer to the beginning of the season. After the penalty, they'll start from their own 8-yard line. And Clement trying to turn the corner, got himself a couple. They're committed to trying to run the football here in this first half, as Doug said they would be, trying to see what Corey Clement, where he is right now. They're certainly getting a good look.
Well, and also with Josh McCown out there, I think they're hoping to lean on the offensive line a little bit and get some positive yardage on first down to put McCown in better situations. The guy just got here. First practice was Sunday.
And he's got a very limited playbook that he's choosing from out there right now. Blitz coming. McCown stands in a little bit behind his intended receiver, Arthega Whiteside. It's going to bring up third down. Back down to Spud.
So one of the things that Doug Peterson has really stressed throughout this offseason, through the preseason, is starting faster offensively. In the Super Bowl season, the Eagles scored 106 points, among the best teams in the league in the first quarter. Last year, among the worst teams in the league, scoring just 41 points. They've got to start faster beginning September 8th.
That's part of the reason he said he was going to play the starters in the beginning of this game to try to get that feel here against the Ravens, especially after having seen them all week. Third down now. McCown across the middle, can't connect. He's trying to get it to Joshua Perkins, and Perkins can't haul it in, so the punting unit will come out once again for the Birds.
Part of it, Scott, is just all these third and longs that they've been in. They really haven't been in favorable situations. You've got Josh McCown throwing to receivers he just met a few days ago. Clearly not in rhythm, but what did he say to us? He said, what really matters is getting ready for the opener in 15 days, and tonight is really just part of that process for McCown.
Flag on the play as Cyrus Jones gets buried under a wave of white jerseys just across the midfield stripe. But another flag down on the play.
The percentage of penalties on special teams is just mind-boggling. You're almost surprised
when there's not,
especially on punts, when there's not a penalty.
Not only that, long conversations about these penalties.
During the kick, number 80 of the kicking team went out of bounds and did not come back in immediately. This is unsportsmanlike conduct. This 15-yard penalty will be added to the end of the play. It's first down Baltimore. Timeout.
Mark and Michelle, the gunner, you can't go out of bounds and keep running out of bounds. You got to work to get back inside right away.
More people rely on gives you more, like thousands of tickets to NFL games with the Verizon Up Rewards program. Well, the starting defensive unit has put in its work for the night. They now take a seat as the twos will try to hold Baltimore here for the second time, starting in Eagles territory, this time at the 35.
And the guys out there now, Scott, are really the guys they need to see to make their decisions next week.
McSorley's got time, and that throw is incomplete. I'll tell you what, Miles Boykin tried to make an adjustment to that ball and probably should have caught it.
Boykin, bottom of your screen. He is an impressive rookie working against McKinnon. It's his zone coverage, runs all the way across the field. Look at the collision between L.J. Fort and DeAndre Hall, and you're right, he probably should have caught that.
McSorley's a guy who's trying to figure out a way to fight his way onto this squad for the Ravens. Lamar Jackson and RG3 are the two incumbent quarterbacks. The throw to the outside is indeed a catch for Brown. Down at the 30, so pick up a 5.
Man, he threw that one before Brown even broke out of his route. You want to talk about anticipation there. Not much you can do as a corner if the quarterback unloads it that quickly.
Haven't seen a whole lot of third down production in this game. The teams are combined 1 for 8. Baltimore's 0 for 3.
Well, and Deshaun Hall and Josh Sweat are in now, so watch the two edges. Those are the guys the Eagles need to come through.
With a man in motion on 3rd and 5, McSorley throws to a wide open receiver for first down yardage, and Mark Andrews yards after the catch. Wow. All the way down to the 5-yard line for a 20-yard pickup.
Eagles came with a blitz, and McSorley got rid of the ball quickly. Credit the rookie from Penn State. Knew exactly where to go with the ball, and you need better tackling there. Looks to me like Cyprian's trying to rip the ball out, but at least one guy has to go for the tackle. The second guy can come in and rip the ball out, but you can't have both guys trying to rip it out.
That's good hard yards after the catch. Now right into the line of scrimmage for Justice Hill, down to the 4. TJ Edwards there for the stop.
Edwards is a young guy that is impressed. Rookie undrafted, free agent from Wisconsin. We highlighted him a couple times last week against the Jaguars. Ultra productive for the Badgers.
Led this team in tackles 3 of his seasons at Wisconsin. Second down now, second and goal for Baltimore, trying to get into the end zone for the first time tonight. McSorley's got room, throws, late decision on the throw, and it's incomplete. He was gonna run, then saw his back just as Hill was open, tried to sling it in there, but the throw a little bit too low. Well, the defense has held twice and forced the Ravens into a field goal try. We'll see if they can do it again now. Third and goal from the 4.
And this is the group that held the Jags last week, other than the 1 turnover. Again, keep your eye on the 2 edges. Hall and Sweater really maybe competing for 1 spot.
McSorley gonna try to run it in, and he is into the end zone for a touchdown. Ford didn't believe that he had crossed the plane, and we're going to see right now. He did not. I believe that knee is down before the ball crosses the plane, is it not?
Watch the right knee, I believe. No, left.
Both.
Right knee.
Right knee.
Hard to see where the ball is right there, but I don't think it crossed the plane. The question is, it is enough to overturn? Is there an angle where you can see clearly?
Touchdown is under further review.
As you know by now, every scoring play is reviewed. The question is, we can't see whether he extended the arm before the knee hit.
Knee isn't down until right then.
Very hard to tell as the officials take a look.
Fort rolls him over.
Ruling on the field stands as called. It is a touchdown.
Tonight's official reviews are driven by AAA, and as you can see, the call stands for the touchdown by McSorley. And the Ravens with a 12-point lead are going to try to stretch that with a 2-point conversion. I'm not sure if the knee ever touched you, and I looked at it a whole bunch of times while we were away at break.
At a minimum, there wasn't enough to overturn it in my mind, and man, that looks familiar to Penn State fans out there.
McSorley out of the shotgun, trying for that 2-point conversion. Flag on the play. The conversion is good if it stands. I have a feeling this is going against the Ravens and backing them up.
Well, he's been the star, really, of preseason. Scott, number 74, Deshaun Hall, working against the starting right tackle for the Baltimore Ravens right there, Orlando Brown. When McSorley runs around the edge, Hall tries to disengage right there.
Yeah, he held him.
They got to call that. Nice job by Hall. Hands inside, able to extend, get
Holding.
out.
Offense number 78. 10-yard penalty. The offense has chosen to take the 10-yard penalty from the 15-yard line and kick for 1 point.
So that is their option, and they'll take it. Good pressure from Deshaun Hall.
So at a minimum, that's a 1-point play by Hall, and now that Tucker has to try to attempt a 43-yard extra point, might end up being a 2-point play for Hall, although I wouldn't hold your breath with Tucker.
This is a 43-yard extra point. Yep, he is money. So a 13-0 lead early here in the second. Let us know where you're watching from using the hashtag Eagles Everywhere for a chance to be featured on this broadcast. Well, we know where Ross is.
I love that they show mine.
Yeah.
And I love seeing where the other people are watching all over the globe. We got people watching tonight. Eagles, Ireland.
Like that.
So cool. San Diego. Look at all of them.
That's a lot of fans. That's it.
We're right here.
Yeah.
Why don't you reply to that tweet?
We got to talk about Twitter.
What's your Twitter handle? At Scott Wipeout?
Yeah, we've got to talk about
Twitter.
Twitter.
What does that even mean, Scott Wipeout?
My company's Wipeout Productions.
Oh, nice. Okay. I thought it was like a Nickelodeon thing.
No.
Wasn't that the name of the show back in the day?
You have any idea how many emails I got from kids who wanted to be on that show?
Was that the Green Slime show?
No, there's people falling. There was a whole bunch of stuff going on. Guess what? We got a flag on a special teams play.
That is unbelievable.
Return. Yep.
I think Dave Phipp, the Eagles special teams coordinator, is going to lose his mind.
During the return, holding, receiving team number 16. 10-yard penalty, first down.
Matt Collins called for that hold.
Second offensive line's in the game now. Pryor, Dillard. So McCown's now working with the twos. May have to showcase some of that athleticism that he has. Even at 40 years of age, he can still move.
Yeah, if you don't know how good an athlete he is, then you got a couple things you're about to learn. But the Eagles backed up to their own 14-yard line to start this drive. McCown, nowhere to go. Pocket collapses around him, and he's thrown for a loss back to the 11. All right, Detroit Lions, right? Played for this team, played for every team. But wait a minute. He's lined up as a receiver.
In a real NFL game, by the way, and out and up.
That's a good route.
And watch, he can really hoop, man. Watch this. Bam.
Guy's an athlete.
And now he plays football and basketball with his kids. 4 kids, 21, 16, 15, 11.
They were all involved in the decision for him to come back out of retirement. He said they all pretty much said, yeah, go ahead, Dad, it's fine.
Think about the fact that he has a 21-year-old. I mean, sometimes we joke around and say, he's old enough to be some of these guys' dads. Well, he really is. I mean, he's got a 21-year-old, and he was coaching. You see his receiving stats at the bottom. But he was coaching his son. You know, his son's a 16-year-old sophomore quarterback down there in Charlotte, and he was a coach. But Myers Park High School. But the thing is his boys said, wait, you can play for the Eagles? Dad, you got to go.
3rd down and 9. And Dad fires. Going to be short of first down yardage. Gets the completion to Perkins, but only the 20-yard line leaves him 4 yards short. And the punting unit out once again for the Birds.
Not a great showing there by the right side of the offensive line. It's a stunt. Mailata gets beat inside. Both guys end up getting to the quarterback there. In fact, it really wasn't a very good series by the 2 offensive line when they came in there with McCown. They performed much better the first 2 weeks than they did right there in that series.
Johnston punts it away, and it is a beauty. Tyler Irvin backed up all the way to his own 20-yard line. He's got some room. Now kick the coverage a bit. That's going to be a good punt return of 21 yards after a 60-yard punt by Johnston. Defense back out on the field. They've spent a lot of time there in the first half. The 2019 Eagles Radiothon, presented by Santander, starts on August 26th. Visit EaglesRadiothon.com to check out the amazing experiences you can bid on once the auction goes live. Eagles are the first NFL team to have a fan-friendly autism sensory room here at Lincoln Financial Field. That room allows individuals with autism to have a quiet area to relax during the game. Sensory Room, just one of the great programs. It's funded by the Eagles Autism Challenge. The event has raised over $6 million in the first 2 years of the program. That is great news.
And look at all the players that get involved.
That's great.
This organization really is unbelievable. And I'm not saying that, Scott, just because I'm doing the preseason games now. Anybody that's asked me the last 10 years since I've been doing media, in every way, it is very, very impressive. And it starts at the top with the owner, Jeffrey Lurie.
Well, the Ravens back out on offense. And Trace McSorley getting some extended time. Wow, that's a nice move. And the throw to the far sideline. And get him positive yardage, a pickup of 9 yards on the play.
So we are obviously focused on the Eagles, but these young players for the Ravens have been very impressive. Trace McSorley, Miles Boykin, Mark Andrews. Man, if you're a Ravens fan watching this game, you're highly encouraged by how your young players are performing. And conversely, you know, the score doesn't really matter, Scott, but I don't think Doug Peterson is going to be real happy at halftime when he talks with Dave Spadaro just about how this team has looked overall.
It's the execution more than anything else. That is wide open. Look out. Big yardage for a first down and more down the sideline. And Michael Floyd, 16 yards on the pickup. He was uncovered.
Well, Josh Hawkins was supposed to be covering him, but he got totally fooled. Look at that formation in the backfield. Reverse wishbone there, and Hawkins thought it was a run and just left his responsibility. I will say this, though, Scott, this is part of the reason why the Eagles were happy to go against the Ravens, because Greg Roman, their coordinator, who's from Atlantic City, is very, very impressive, does a lot of different stuff, and he's had the Eagles on their heels a little bit tonight.
Can you imagine some of these things are plays that the Eagles saw over at NovaCare in those 2 days, and a couple of them aren't. And I can guarantee you what we just saw, that was not one of the plays that they saw.
It's always interesting too, right, Scott? It's like, okay, what do you show in the preseason and what do you not? Now, on the one hand, you don't want to show it because you want to save it for the regular season. On the other hand, if you show some stuff, then your opponent the first couple weeks has to prepare for all of it.
On second down, spinning move off a tackle. Late flag comes in. This might be coming back, and that would end up being a shame for the Ravens after Justice Hill just showed tremendous bounceability.
Another young player, another rookie for the Ravens who's been very impressive.
Holding. Offense, number 68, 10-yard penalty. Replay, second down.
Matt Skura, the starting center, gets called for the hold that negates that gain. All that hard work for Justice Hill turns out to be for nothing. Justice Hill, one of 7 players in Oklahoma State history with 1,000 yards.
The guys on the field for the Eagles right now are the guys that are all fighting to prove they should be on this team.
On second down, throw to the outside. Good extension from Hayden Hurst. And he gets it down to the 28-yard line. Picked up a little bit better than 7 yards on the play and made it manageable again for third down.
It wasn't bad coverage by Trey Sullivan, but it was a really nice throw by McSorley. Hurst is a former first-round pick tight end, ran the out route. And the other thing is, there was a lot of time there for McSorley. Ravens still have their first-string offensive line, and those are their starters across the board, at least the guys that started this game.
The man in motion on third down. They've got to get it to the 23. Rush coming. McSorley going up top. Good throw for the touchdown. On the near sideline, the veteran Michael Floyd beats his man, and McSorley drops one in there to make this a 19-point game.
Bottom of the screen, it's just a go route. Michael Floyd outside release against Jeremiah McKinnon. The coverage is not bad. That's a perfect throw. I mean, you know, McKinnon's got to be there in case it's a back shoulder throw. Trace McSorley dropping it in the bucket. This is what Penn State fans saw for 3 years. That's why I said, Scott, he's the best quarterback in Penn State history. Now, he's not the best pro prospect, and he's not probably going to have Kerry Collins' career, but for what he did the last 3 years, best in Penn State history.
Going for a 2-point conversion, and this one glances right off the fingertips of Michael Floyd. So now you got yourself a 19-point game, and when you're in the situation that the Eagles are in right now, and I'm sure, again, in your days playing, you saw things like this. What is it that you're trying to focus on for the remainder of this half, the remainder of the game? Is it just cleaning up the execution?
How about anything positive? I mean, it's been pretty ugly. I think Doug Peterson will be the first one to tell you, we just got to get something going, get a little bit of momentum going here, because it hasn't been good. The Ravens are playing a lot of young players. Those guys have come out and played very well. I will say this, though, Scott. Sometimes coaches, I don't want to say they like it, but this will absolutely get the attention of the Philadelphia Eagles, and I bet you Doug Peterson gets their attention at halftime, that no matter what the score ends up being, these guys better come out and play better football. They better play Eagles football in the second half, no matter who's out there.
Now you got one more game to go, so you're working through what it is you're doing for the rest of this one and for next week up at the Meadowlands as well. Like you said, got to make something happen. And that return will get it out across the 20.
On the flip side, Scott, I thought Corey Clement did some positive things when he was in there. I thought the first string offensive line looked good when they were out there. So some of the things that we wanted to see and that were important were positives for the Eagles tonight.
Going to be at least one more series for Josh McCown.
They have a very good second string offensive line. They showed it the first 2 weeks. Those guys should be able to get the job done.
McCown got it in there. Late flag on the play after a 10-yard pickup on first down. Arcega-Whiteside making the catch. Good timing from quarterback to receiver.
Illegal use of hands to the face. Defense number 38. That penalty is declined. The play results in a first down.
Let's go down to Dave Spadaro.
All right, I'm here with safety Rodney McLeod, who makes his preseason debut tonight. What was the feeling like for you?
Man, it was everything I envisioned it to be. Felt good to get back out there, running around, man, just making plays. That's what I dreamed of, and that's what I was able to do today. So there's another step forward, and obviously we got a couple more weeks, man, before it gets real. So it feels good. It feels good to be back.
Sometimes they say that you don't really know how much you miss something until it's gone. Is that kind of the feeling?
Oh, absolutely, man. Nerves was running, you know, since they told me I was playing. I told, like, my wife and my family yesterday, like, I don't know, like earlier today, I think I was like, man, it's a different type of nerves that I have just because it's been a year. But it felt good, man, and, you know, just good to see all my work that I put in show tonight.
September 8th, right around the corner. Let's get ready.
Oh, yeah, we coming for it. You know, we're going to set the tone for the year.
Rodney, thanks so much. Congratulations.
Appreciate you.
Scott, back to you.
I would say that's the other positive, Scott, is just how Rodney McLeod looked out here. Yet another flag on that play. But the two guys that played tonight for the first time in a long time coming off injuries, Clement and McLeod, both look good.
Illegal formation. Offense. Left tackle. 5-yard penalty. Replay, second down.
And that penalty getting in the way is Andre Dillard is called for the penalty. And you know, you're watching right now as McCown seemed to be finding a rhythm with a couple of the short drop, short throws. Now they're back to a second down and 7.
Josh McCown just changed the protection because he thinks pressure's coming from the left. And I think he's right.
Also coming from, yep, there it is. Pretty throw to the outside for first down yardage, and once again, all he does is make catches. Greg Ward hauls it in.
So good by Josh McCown. He changed Nate Herbig. Watch these guys on the left side. They're going to fan out for the corner who comes off the edge. McCown saw that because he saw the safety rotate over that way. They've got the rookie center in Herbig. Herbig wasn't going to slide the protection that left side of the line all the way out there, but McCown changed it. And then Greg Ward, man, every time Greg Ward gets a chance, it seems like he makes a play.
Merrill Reese has been saying that to me for months. And Clement back into the ball game with a spin move down to the 46. 3-yard pickup. 7 carries, 25 yards on the night. And for Corey Clement, you know, the ability to get back out there and be able to be Corey Clement again for him, that's the biggest part of it.
Well, and they've got some other good running backs in Adams and Smallwood, but really Clement looks to me like he's got a little bit more juice and a little bit more versatility than those guys.
Pressure coming again. Clement picks up the blitz. Throw to the outside, a pretty one and a first down, no. Agadosi was not inbound. Everything right about that play except Agadosi could not stay in.
Nice throw by McCown.
Oh, he's in.
Left foot in, right
in.
foot drag. I mean, what are we talking about here? Watch the blitz pickup by Corey Clement. Ugh! You see Clement dip and then explode on that guy? How come every time Agadosi catches a ball, there's a replay?
Has challenged the ruling on the field of an incomplete pass.
Maybe because he's 6'6", 220, and you don't see that form very often.
He had the pass interference overturned last week. He had the other catch on the sideline that they reviewed and they said he didn't catch. It's the same thing as last week. That's a clear catch.
Did he secure the ball? Because both feet are definitely in. Did he juggle?
I don't see any juggling. I don't see the ball moving.
Neither do I.
He's got gigantic hands. No, that's a catch.
Tonight's official reviews are driven by AAA. After the challenge flag thrown by Doug Peterson, a chance to talk things over on the sideline, and they believe clearly, as do most of the people here at Lincoln Financial Field right now, that that is going to be a catch.
Agadosi's made some plays for them in camp. He's made some plays in the preseason. I guess I'm concerned. Watch. He's got the ball right now.
Both feet right there.
Left foot's down. The right foot's going to drag.
It is dragging already.
I'm not one of those guys, Scott, that kills the refs, but man, how do you not see that? I mean, there's two guys right there. That's a pretty obvious catch. I guess I would be interested to talk to them and say, what did you see? Like, why did you say that that was an incompletion?
Well, it's getting overturned.
The receiver dragged his toe and got 2 feet in bounds. It is a catch. It will be first down and 10 yards to go at the 32-yard line. Please reset the game clock to 3 minutes, 47 seconds.
I think this is the point where, as a color analyst, I'm supposed to say, it's preseason for the officials too, Scott. How many times do you hear that? Every preseason game I've watched, when there's a bad call by the rep, the color analyst says, it's preseason for those guys too in stripes, Scott. That's my color analyst that isn't me voice. Do you like that voice better or my real voice?
I like them both.
Okay.
Really starting to feel pretty good about yourself, aren't you? Pumphrey into the game, and he gets pummeled, really for no good reason.
They had two running backs in the game, Pumphrey and Clement.
Flag in the play.
Before the pass was thrown, holding, defense number 26. 5-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
Maurice Kennedy called for the hold.
Top of your screen against Arcega-Whiteside. Grabs him up top. Tried to grab him again there.
Couldn't get a hold of him the first time, but
Yeah, I actually would call that an unsuccessful hold attempt. I'm not even sure that was a hold.
On first down, Arcega-Whiteside developing a nice little relationship with Josh McCown. Catch for a short gain down to the 24.
He's going to be a really nice 4th or 5th receiver, Arcega-Whiteside. I mean, they know who their top 3 guys are, but if somebody goes down, to put number 19 in, he looks like he can play. And he's already made a couple nice plays after the catch, which is not really what he's known for.
McCown, as we said, starting to find a rhythm now, 7 for 10. Oh my, whoa, okie-doke. Flags flying like crazy.
Full start. Offense number 68. 5-yard penalty, still second down.
Bit of a rougher night for Jordan Mailata for the Eagles, now with 6 penalties here in this first half.
Most of the stuff he writes down is not good. So if it's a play where you see him write something down, that's not good for whoever he's writing about, and that time it's Mailata, who's had a nice preseason, by the way. He's going to end up being a starter in this league.
Give a little bit of time to McCown, and he shows that athleticism. Pretty good slide, too, inside the 25 down to the 24.
Were you thinking the same thing I was thinking while he ran?
Yeah.
Get down, get down, get down. We've seen a quarterback get hurt every game, but he does show he can do this. And the Eagles have that history. If they need to use a backup, guys like Garcia and Cobb and Vick, a lot of guys have played well when they've had to.
We've reached the 2-minute warning. Eagles going to try to get into the end zone before halftime. The half, Fran Duffy goes to the film to show us how the Eagles might use Dallas Goedert and Zach Ertz together on the field in Sights and Sounds presented by Santander. Santander Bank treats you and your money with respect. Learn more about how respect adds up by visiting santanderbank.com. Then we'll review the Temple halftime stats. Temple University, Philadelphia's public university, is a proud partner of our Philadelphia Eagles.
Fran and his team, including Ben Fennell, also put together all the wah-wah breakdowns I do.
Break this down for me.
Speaking of breaking down, look at Jason Peters talking to Mailata. Then he comes over and talks to Dillard. You're talking about a guy that's been in the NFL forever. Look how engaged he still is. So cool for me to see that. He was a rookie when it was my 4th year, Scott, in Buffalo. He was a rookie practice squad tight end that really had no idea what's going on. Now he's out there mentoring 2 really good-looking young tackle prospects.
Pretty good chance you're going to see him in Canton one day.
He better be.
3rd down, they've got to get it to the 17 on their best drive of the night so far, and whistles and flags abound.
They had it too. They had the right protection. It was man-to-man.
Before the snap, false start by the offensive right guard. 5-yard penalty. It's 3rd down.
We told you about Josh McCown after going 2 for his first 5. A little bit of a rhythm, 5 for 5, 50 yards. And this one's going to get a little bit tougher now as it'll be a 3rd down and 12.
I could not believe when he told us this is his 18th different offense in pro football. He's never had the same offense 2 years in a row. That's crazy.
Now all kinds of movement, no snap of the football, and it's not getting a whole lot better.
And that one, I believe, was on the center. It didn't look like Herbig snapped when he was
False
supposed
start.
to.
Offense number 68. 5-yard penalty. It's still 3rd down.
Called it on Mailata.
Does he write something or does he just get angry? He's actually staying pretty calm. I've seen him light guys. Oh, here comes the pen.
Yep.
Not good.
Nope.
Not good. I think he wrote down 67, not 68 there, because it looked to me like everybody moved and Herbig just didn't snap.
Now it's 3rd and a bunch.
74, McCown just changed the protection. They're going to slide left.
Got some time, got the man, and delivers the football. You get a good-sized chunk of it back. Once again, it's Greg Ward hanging out to the ball in traffic. A quick timeout called for. And the Eagles aren't going to try this on 4th down. They're going to go for the points.
This is just so impressive to me that a guy that's been here 4 days in his 18th offense is out here changing protections, made the right check there. They blocked it up. He found Ward. Look at all the guys laughing. I think they're laughing because how many audibles he's making. He just got here.
Man, I'm tired, right? Last week I was coaching kids. 41-yard attempt is going to be wide to the left. And for Elliott, who was hitting a couple of bombs in pregame, that hook likely means the Eagles are going to the locker room at halftime scoreless.
Well, that's a shame because it looked like the Eagles had a chance to at least go into halftime feeling good about something. That was a nice drive by McCown. They marched down the field until they had a couple of pre-snap penalties, which have been their Achilles heel, and you'd expect Elliott to make that kick and have something on the scoreboard to show for it.
What you're looking for right now, if you're Doug Peterson, there's a lot of different things, but out of McCown, that's exactly what you needed, that last drive, to get him moving. Sorley throws late across the middle to Chris Moore, and another flag comes flying late, all the way back by the quarterback.
Personal foul, roughing the passer. Defense number 74. 15 yards will be added to the end of the play. 1st down.
Well, Deshaun Hall has done so many positive things this preseason. 3 sacks, 2 forced fumbles. I think he's getting frustrated. Let's see if he drives him into the ground.
Yep.
That's what they got him for. That is a penalty if you put all your weight on the quarterback like that.
Might have been half a step late, but there's no doubt about the fact.
Yeah, I think it was more the weight.
Yep. The Ravens still with a minute of leeway and now in Eagles territory. McKinnon makes the tackle. That's only the first time out used by the Ravens. They're going to have an opportunity here. See if they can put more points on the board.
Hall's had a really nice preseason. Been the best pass rusher in the NFL in the preseason. Top of your screen, double hand wipe right there against the Jags to force the fumble. He's done a nice job against the run. You see again the hand usage all the way around. A knockdown on Minshew. Now watch this. Another sack.
Trying to get some pressure here. McSorley up top, back shoulder throw. Flags all over the field after the catch made by Jaleel Scott.
Well,
the question is, was that offensive?
Yeah, I didn't see a push-off, but I did see some late separation. Bottom of your screen. Outside release again, a go route. Let's see if he pushes off here.
I don't think so.
I don't know. He kind of discarded him a little bit, but I don't think I...
Oh, there.
Yeah,
there it is.
You know what? Enough of a push in the back on that number 3. McKinnon was kind of grabbing him too. I wonder what they're talking about.
So there's your grab. Now your push.
Wow, another long conversation too, Scott.
And another verdict.
There were fouls by both teams on the play. Pass interference, offense number 12. Pass interference, defense number 38. Those penalties offset, replay second down.
And you know what's interesting about that? We are under 2 minutes.
Right.
So the booth right now could elect to review.
No, they cannot.
Both of those.
No.
You just don't want them to.
No, I don't want them to.
Well, they can though. Don't say no. Then people thinking I don't know what I'm talking about. Yes, they can.
Perfect call for that play.
I know what I'm talking about, but I'm glad they're not doing it.
It's the perfect call for that play. It's the can't we all just get along call.
Oh, man. You got a couple of young DNs here trying to make a play. They're trying to be that 5th DN or 4th DN.
Unimpeded to the quarterback, defense number 94. 5-yard penalty, second down.
This is pass interference now being reviewable. Coaches can challenge the call or non-call. The final 2 minutes of the half is booth review. Now they're looking for clear visual evidence of a foul. Another penalty flag, so we'll have time to talk.
Snap infraction, offense number 65. 5-yard penalty, second down.
You know there's a lot of flags when there's a penalty on the opponent and the fans are booing.
They really just
I don't know that I've ever seen that before.
They really just want to watch some football.
John Harbaugh, the former Eagles special teams coordinator.
Throw to the outside, all kinds of contact. They're calling for another flag. This time the flags remain in the officials' pockets. But the point that I was trying to make is you get to that point where it's being reviewed in the last 2 minutes of the half, and once that happens, the official who's looking at it in New York can look at everything.
Right.
So a penalty that hasn't even been talked about could be called after the fact.
Right. They look at the whole play.
Oh, that could turn into a circus.
Single receiver at the top.
McSorley's got a little bit of time. And downfield for first down yardage. And a smart play made by Chris Moore, who scampers out of bounds to stop the clock with 42 seconds left.
Well, the second string defensive line has been one of the stars of the preseason for the Eagles, but they're not getting it done tonight. Ridgeway, Hester, right now Sharif Miller and Eli Harold are in at ends because the Eagles pulled Josh Sweat and Deshaun Hall after their respective penalties.
Sorley back to work up top, got a man, can't quite get there. Jaleel Scott was a fingertip away from a sprawling touchdown catch, but it falls incomplete. Second down, 36 seconds, 2 timeouts left. Lots of opportunities still there. And lots to defend for this Eagles defensive unit in the closing seconds of this half.
And these defensive tackles are tired, Scott, and part of that's because they're down a guy. The Eagles made a trade today, this afternoon. Bruce Hector, who was on the roster last year, traded to the Arizona Cardinals for a safety, Rudy Ford.
Right across the middle. And it's going to be close to first down yardage on the catch by Jalen Smith. Rookie out of Louisville.
So typically, they'd be rotating Ridgeway, Hester, and Hector. Those are the guys competing for the 4th and 5th D tackle spots. But Hector's gone. He's on a plane to Phoenix.
Hector had split time last year between the practice squad and the active roster, played in 8 games.
And really all that tells you, Scott, is that he was not going to be on this roster. And the Eagles said, hey, why don't we try to get something in return for him? Ford is a guy that has some versatility like a lot of these Eagles safeties. He can play safety, can play nickel. Ran a 4.4 coming out of Auburn when he was drafted late by the Cardinals in 2017.
Third down. And that's going to be good for first down yardage to the 14-yard line, and that will be the last timeout used by Baltimore. So they've got 26 seconds to work with. They've got a first down, no timeouts remaining. It was very, very hot in Philadelphia today. The end of a long heat wave, and these guys got work in over the course of this week on 2 unbelievably hot days in full pads. That cold front probably can't come fast enough for anybody. It's coming, by the way.
I was there Tuesday, and to watch Carson Wentz in the offense on one field go, and then on the other field was Lamar Jackson and against the Eagles defense. That was awesome. There was like a snap every 5 seconds. My head was going back and forth.
Back shoulder throw, good coverage. Back down to the end zone by Josh Hawkins, and it falls incomplete.
Stop and go. Hawkins didn't fall for it and uses the near hand. Little contact there, maybe a little bit of a grab there, but I think because he was able to knock the ball away, that's a good no call. Been critical of Hawkins a few times the first 2 preseason games. That was well done by number 48.
McSorley with the rush coming, can't get away from it this time. Remember, no timeouts left, but a flag on the play.
I think they got his face mask.
Trayvon Hester finally gets him down to the ground, but I think they did too.
Personal foul, face mask, defense number 98. Half the distance to the goal from the previous spot, automatic, first down.
It was Sharif Miller who actually got that face mask, and now that's 12 penalties for 98 penalty yards here in the first half of the Eagles.
And those guys are teammates in college the last 4 years. Those guys are buddies. I don't know what the Eagles fans are booing. I mean, the helmet was on the side of his head. Maybe because they said 98 rather than 76.
I don't think it's going to take a whole lot to set this crowd off right now. I haven't exactly seen a time capsule kind of game here in preseason game number 3, at least for the first half. That incomplete pass gets us down to 11 seconds to go here in the first.
One thing we didn't mention yet, Scott, the Ravens have won 15 straight preseason games. 15 in a row. If they win tonight, it'll be 4 years in a row where they haven't lost a preseason game. And they didn't start with Lamar Jackson, so it's not about necessarily their personnel. I think it's about the priority and the emphasis Harbaugh puts on it, game planning to make sure they have success in these games. He clearly wants to win.
Big rush coming. McSorley throws, touchdown. Once again, adjustment to the football by Jaleel Scott in the corner for a 7-yard touchdown. With 7 seconds left in the half, it's now a 25-0 game.
This is just going to be a back shoulder fade, but instead he'll throw the ball to the back shoulder. McKinnon kind of flat-footed. Scott's got a big body. I'm not sure McKinnon would have been able to make a play on that football anyway. Trace McSorley is dealing. I mean, he's playing better tonight than he played, quite honestly, all year last year for Penn State. He was beat up and didn't have a great year throwing the football. He looks like the Trace McSorley from 16 and 17.
16 for 24 for 203 yards and a couple of scores. And it is now a 26-point game as we zero in on halftime. Now, halftime you would think it's going to be welcome because you go inside, it's cooler, and I don't know that all of these Eagles players are necessarily going to want to face their coaching staff.
I think they're going to get after him, and I think they probably should. You know, it's one thing to lose in a preseason game. It's another to be at home and really get embarrassed. Now, I just mentioned it. The Ravens clearly put more of an emphasis on winning preseason games than do the Eagles, but they're playing a lot of young guys out there. The one thing I will say for the Eagles is that the guys that we needed to see the most from tonight, Rodney McLeod, Corey Clement, certainly Josh McCown, they all showed some really good signs, and even the first-string offensive line as well. So there are positives from a lot of the folks that we were seeing for the first time tonight.
A conversation on the sideline between the grizzled veteran and the starter, who clearly now is going to be making his debut for the season in the opener. Scott with the return, goes to the ground, and with 1 second left, there will be one more snap here in this half.
And
8 out of 11, 70 yards.
Yeah, and by the way, Scott, you see, we saw McCown talking with Carson Wentz. That's part of the reason why he's here. You know, Doug Peterson told us yesterday he liked the idea of having a veteran mentor for Carson Wentz in the quarterback room. Carson's still a young player. It's only his 4th year. And so to have a guy that's been so many places, so many situations, can only help number 11.
It will be one snap and a knee and a look of frustration. Not necessarily what a number of the starters who began this game here tonight were hoping the first half would look like. But they did get work in, and an opportunity to break a sweat here tonight. Preseason game number 3. Let's go down now to Dave Spadaro.
All right, thanks, Scott. Coach, I know 26-0 isn't a good thing. Let's talk about some of the good things that happened. Corey Clement, Rodney McLeod, their first action of the preseason. What did you see from them?
Yeah, it was really good to get both those guys in a football game. Get them some live action. Rodney, made some really good tackles out there flying around. It was great to see that. And Corey the same way, so it was good to see both those two guys.
And then Josh got the offense moving 4 days into his career as an Eagle. What did you see from him? And then what's next in the process for him?
Yeah, I mean, it was good to see him get in there, and he got a series or two there with the starting offensive line, and then to come back and put us in a position to get points. Really, managed the team well. Took a couple shots, which probably was a little eye-opener for him, but it's just a progression. He's got to continue to learn and get more time with our offense.
Thanks so much, Doug. Doug Peterson, Eagles head coach. Clayton Thorson expected to take over at quarterback in the second half. Scott, back to you.
And the Eagles hoping to find some offense in the second half, something they were clearly lacking in half number 1, a 26-point deficit at the break. And there is an interesting development for you as we get set to start the third. It's like Josh McCown's going to get another opportunity. Come back out and knock off some of the rust, which he did in that first half.
Well, that's exactly what he did. Didn't get off to a great start, but after that, showing really nice command of the offense, made several accurate throws, and to me what was most impressive was him out there changing the protection and showing a real good understanding of the Eagles concept. I mean, that's why you sign a guy that's 40 and in his 18th year of pro football.
You see the numbers, 8 out of 11 for 70 yards. Zach Ertz, who played tonight, pads are off now. His night is done. Eagles will be kicking off to begin this second half as the Ravens won the coin toss, it seems like 3 days ago.
And the good news, Scott, if there is any, is that the score doesn't matter, and that all that really matters is how these individuals perform in the second half that are trying to earn a spot on the roster or the practice squad.
We've seen a lot of players like Hall and Josh Sweat. Going to get more of an opportunity here in the second half.
I mean, if this is a regular season game, obviously you're trying to make an epic comeback from down 26 points. Here, if you're on the field right now for the Eagles, you're trying to make some plays. Do your job and make some plays to try to secure your spot on a very, very talented roster.
McSorley still in there at quarterback to start this third quarter. And throwing once again, trying to find his man Jaleel Scott. Flag on the play. Really?
Holding. Offense, number 62. 10 yards. Replay, first down.
Marcus Applefield, rookie out of Virginia, gets called for the hold. That is the 6th penalty for the Ravens and the 18th in all here in this game. And we're 6 seconds into the second half. Sorley sends a man in motion. Setting up the screen. That's going absolutely nowhere. That was sniffed out beautifully by L.J. Fort.
Fort's made a bunch of plays this preseason, showing why he was a priority free agent for the Eagles. Right there, he's in man-to-man coverage, sees it, explodes, wrap-up tackler. He runs extremely well. I think he's been a bright spot this preseason for the Eagles. And he's got that dark visor, which just looks awesome.
It does.
If I could go back and play again, I would definitely be a visor guy. I don't know what note you need from a doctor or whatever, but it looks awesome.
Think that would have toughened you up even more?
No, I just think it would have looked cool. Aesthetics, Scott. Aesthetics. That's what I'm into.
It's all about the optics. Alex Singleton, a good job once again of recognition, and once again a negative play for the Ravens, who are backing up now to their own 9.
3 really good plays by the Eagles to start this half. Josh Sweat forced a holding penalty on first down. Fort and Singleton make back-to-back plays. Now it's 3rd and forever for the Ravens.
Remember, Ravens are a running team, right? They're going to run the football a lot this year. They have 10 rushing yards in this game.
Well, they're trying to see what McSorley can do.
Instead, they're going to keep it on the ground, stay conservative, buy some room for their punters, and get it out across the 20. And once again, Singleton on the tackle.
All right, 3 and out.
There
Good
you go.
start.
Yep. That is Donnell Pumphrey, who is back to field the punt inside his own 35-yard line. And Sam Cook, punter for the Ravens. A twisting end-over-end punt. Pumphrey's got a little bit of room. That's all Pumphrey needs, is a little bit of room. Out across the 40-yard line. It'll be good field position after a 52-yard punt and a 13-yard return. Here comes the offense one more time, trying to get on the board.
Tonight, we honor Jim Wheeler, Michael Ginter, Joshua Burkett, Sean Parker, Justin Matthews, Nathaniel Harper, Edward Wright, and Ryan Waldman, who sprung into action to save lives and protect those in harm's way. Please join us in recognizing these individuals and all first responders who protect and serve the Philadelphia community every day.
A little bit earlier
Justin
tonight.
Tucker on to attempt the field goal for the Ravens.
little bit earlier tonight, and those are the 6 officers who sustained the gunshot injuries in that incident in North Philadelphia. And yeah, miraculously is the correct word. Scary, but you give out just so much respect to public servants like that who put their lives on the line every day. Come out to play now to begin the second half, and Hollins makes a catch, so on first down, an 11-yard pickup.
And I know all the fans watching look up to the Eagles, and they should, but those Philly police officers are the real heroes. Nice play by Hollins to start this half. Left foot down, right foot drag. He is an absolute terror on special teams, and showing enough at receiver there, making a play like that.
McCown just kind of sailed that one. He was looking out in the direction of Greg Ward, but that ball was well above his head and a good 5 to 7 yards beyond where he was on the field.
We asked McCown if he had really been throwing the football. He said, well, yeah, because he's the quarterback coach for his son in high school. So he's throwing the ball with high school receivers with his son. So he had been throwing. Even this wasn't that much of a surprise. He said even at 4th of July, he thought it was 50-50 whether or not he'd play this year.
Said he had kind of circled a couple of teams, at least mentally, thinking, well, if something were to come up. Looks like he's nursing something with his thumb right there. He said there were a couple of teams, and when he saw that it was the Eagles, and he talked to us about this, the culture of the locker room, the depth of the roster, the fact that, you know, it was Doug Peterson, the fact that they've had winning teams and are set up to win right now, all of those things made it a pretty easy decision.
Here comes pressure.
On third down, they've got to get it to the 36. That throw is right on time for first down yardage down to the 30, and they're going to tack on penalty yardage after Ward takes a shot. That's going to be a helmet hit.
A lot of good things there. The protection, McCown getting the ball to the right guy, the catch, then holding on to the football after the
Personal
hit.
foul, lowering the helmet to initiate contact, defense number 32. That 15-yard penalty will be added to the end of the play. First down.
Watch his helmet here as Ward's making the catch. What?
Hit him with the shoulder.
Oh my goodness. Should I do the it's preseason for the ref's voice again, or
I think you played that card.
Played that out already?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'll just say that that's an awful call. And what's concerning about it, Scott, is this should be showcased as an example of exactly how you want him to do it. So when you throw the flag when a guy does it perfectly, it just confuses everybody watching and the players.
That's a whole thing that we were working our way through all of last preseason, trying to figure out exactly what was and what wasn't a penalty in that situation. Yeah, I mean, looking back at that replay, that almost looked like a textbook tackle.
It was a textbook tackle. In certain situations, when it's health and safety, the officials have been told, when in doubt, throw the flag. That's a standard I'm opposed to, because I think you can really help deter the behavior by fining them during the week if it really ends up being a foul.
Down throws. Vega-Whiteside down at the 10-yard line. So it's going to be a third down and 5 yards to go in this Eagles' initial drive of the second half.
I guess my last point on that, Scott, on the flag would be, if I got a flag in a game, I'd be disappointed. If I got fined $10,000, I would cry a little bit. I mean, that would deter me from doing it more the next time than a flag would.
Right.
If I got a flag, I'd say, oh, it's a bad flag. If I got a fine, $10,000, yikes.
So 3 receivers to choose from now. They got to get it to the 5-yard line to keep this drive going. Probably 2-down territory here. McCown up top, got a man, incomplete. We got a flag on the play, and I think it's going to end up being on the Eagles.
Yeah, they ran kind of a rub route. I think they got Arcega-Whiteside. McCown gave him a hand signal to run that route combination to the left.
the way the progression, the receiver went.
Going to be an out and up by
yep.
Ward Jr. Watch.
That's a pick.
You know, he's entitled to his space right there. I just think Arcega-Whiteside didn't do a great job really selling it. Get your hands up when you're trying to catch.
Offense number 19, 10-yard penalty, replay, third down.
Arcega-Whiteside is entitled to his space. He's entitled to run his route. But I think having his arms down, it almost looked like a pick in basketball, whereas if he had his hands up, like he was trying to catch the ball on a little curl route there, he would have been in better shape. I'm still not sure they should have called that. Doesn't matter, Ward didn't catch it anyway.
John Harbaugh accepted the penalty, so now it is a 3rd down and 15. They got to make it to the 5. Late blitz coming. McCown up top, got a man. Touchdown! Arcega-Whiteside on a perfectly thrown ball in the corner of the end zone. First touchdown pass in an Eagles uniform for Josh McCown. There you go.
Ravens came with pressure again, and this second O-line picked it up. Arcega-Whiteside, bottom of your screen, inside release. That's a flag route, a 7 pattern. Look at that throw in those hands. That is pretty. And this is what he did in Stanford and why he was a 2nd-round pick. He is a big body with outstanding hands in the red zone. He actually reminds me a lot of Alshon Jeffrey, like obviously a young Alshon Jeffrey. Long way to go before he has that kind of career, but he's got those skills, he's got that body type, and now he's got a touchdown for the Eagles. The Birds are on the board.
University, Philadelphia's public university, is a proud partner of our Philadelphia Eagles. That is the capper to the best drive of the night for the offense. Drive summary brought to you by Geico, saving people money on car insurance for over 75 years. 20 yards on the touchdown. So, first 5.5 minutes of the second half have already been appreciably better than most of what we saw in the first. And the defense, which got a 3 and out, its first time out there here in the second half, try to do the same.
Trace McSorley's still out there for the Ravens. He was outstanding in the first half, but they do have now the 2nd-string offensive line in. So you'd like to think some of these Eagles defenders, especially Deshaun Hall at the top, Josh Sweat at the bottom, should be able to feast on the backups now.
McSorley threw it flat-footed. He got a yard, maybe 2, out to the outside, firing it for Cole Herdman, rookie out of Purdue. Showed you, took a look up at the lights. It is raining right now. It's not raining super heavily. Tell that pretty easily by the fact that folks are sitting out without trying to cover themselves.
Probably feels good.
Told you that cold front was coming. Right up the middle, and that is stuffed up the middle by Hassan Ridgeway. So no gain on the play, and another 3rd down coming.
Ridgeway missed last week with an injury. Take a look at him right there. He's playing the nose. And he's going to slant inside, has a double team, pushes it back, and he and Hester get in on the play. Those are the 2 guys battling to be the 4th defensive tackle on this team.
3rd down, they've got to get it to the 35. Blitz coming. McSorley's got pressure, stands in the pocket and nearly gets picked off. On the near side, McKinnon got his hands on the football, but it went through, and that means the punting unit comes out once again for Baltimore.
Deshaun Hall right here, rushing around the edge. Good hand usage, that's what he does. Gets the shot on McSorley, tries to pull up, make sure he doesn't get the penalty. McKinnon, good break on the route. Just misses the pick.
So now, Baltimore punts it away, and the Eagles get an opportunity to try to continue some momentum here in this third quarter. Pumphrey back inside his own 25. Had a little bit of a lane, but it closed up for him after a 7-yard return. Offense takes the field once again, trying to continue a third quarter comeback. Eagles Kids Club is the perfect gift for the young Eagles fan in your life. Members receive an awesome welcome kit, access to exclusive events, and much more for just $20. Join now at PhiladelphiaEagles.com/Kids Club. Now the youngsters out here, and apparently Carson Wentz with a rewind button. Look at that.
That is very possibly what Wentz looked like when he was, what, about 11 years old there? Wearing number 11?
Count's still out there now to begin this drive. It's 12 for 16 for a $115 and a touchdown on the night. And the Eagles start off with a run for a couple of yards after scoring on their most recent drive.
Been a really nice night for Arcega-Whiteside. A good night for McCown as well. They're giving him a lot of work. Pretty clear they want him to be ready for week 1 to be the backup. Nate Sudfeld expected to be out the first few weeks. You see what Arcega-Whiteside's done. He has been excellent. Much like all the Ravens young players playing well. That's a young player for the Eagles that has shined tonight. And look at McCown changing the protection again.
Went the right way, throw is a little low, but when your receiver helps you out, those plays result in first downs.
When in doubt, I think McCown audibles to a play where he can throw it to 19.
Just a little shy of the first down across the 40.
They're going to sprint out to the left. Nice job front side. Good job by Josh Adams. McCown saw the pressure and wanted to do a sprint out, get rid of the ball quickly. That's a nice catch, man. I mean, he's made a couple of really nice hands catches.
So third down and short. And they run the football for first down yardage to Adams. Moves the sticks as he gets it out to the 43.
Based on the night, Adams is, what, the 5th or 6th running back right now on this team. You almost forget that he led the Eagles in rushing last year. Their 5th different rusher to lead the team in yards on the ground in 5 consecutive years.
511 yards. Up in the pocket and sailed that one just a bit to Alex Ellis. He still has that same look, doesn't he?
He's done a nice job with these running backs, and yes, he does. He doesn't look real happy.
He's all about intensity, that look.
I think he should be happy. He should be happy about how Corey Clement looked. Probably a good sign for the Eagles that they didn't give Jordan Howard or Miles Sanders any snaps. Those guys have shown them enough.
Rush coming. More territory. Dillard, a good job in protection on that left side.
That's what I noticed too. Andre Dillard, the left tackle, rookie first-round pick. He was isolated there, did a terrific job. You know, he's the only offensive tackle in the NFL, according to Pro Football Focus, that has more than 38 snaps of pass protection and has yet to give up a pressure coming into tonight. He has played very well through the first 2.5 games.
Quick throw. Adosi can't hang on.
Got to go here, right?
Yeah. I mean, you're here, right?
Middle of the field. You know, the Eagles do such a good job with their analytics during the season. They shouldn't. They have a couple of knowing certain situations, whether they should go or not. I wonder if they use those in the preseason or if Doug just says, we're going. It's preseason.
I think in this case it's probably more. I want to get one more snap in here from McCown. Trying to convert on 4th down now. And that throw behind his man, but Arcega-Whiteside is off to the races. Inside the 20 and down inside the 15-yard line. Great adjustment to the football by J.J. Arcega-Whiteside.
Nice protection again. McCown steps up in the pocket. Watch Arcega-Whiteside. It's going to be a quick dig. Watch the hands here. It's behind him, snatches it, reverses field. He is not known for run after the catch, but he's done it a number of times. Good job across the board. Pryor, Dillard, Wiz, Mailata. Trying not to get too out of control about Arcega-Whiteside, but he's good, Scott, and he's good already. He's going to help this team this year.
Got 104 yards receiving in this game. McCown feels the pressure, throws it away, and we've got a flag on the play. It's been such a long time, I had forgotten.
Holding. Offense number 77. 10-yard penalty. Replay, 1st down.
Why are you giving me that look?
Because you did it.
Are you saying I jinxed him?
I'm saying you jinxed him.
Still didn't give up a pressure. It's just a penalty.
Right.
Watch Dillard, one-on-one, left tackle. Oh, hands outside's not good. He's been so good with his hands. That is a blatant hold. They have to call that. Dillard's my guy. I love what he's done so far in the preseason, but that was as bad as he's looked with his technique so far. You need your hands inside for power. Hands outside, you lack power, and they're going to call you for a hold.
On play action, they set up the screen. He's got an escort. There goes Adams. Inside the 10, and down and out of the 6-yard line. That was a well-designed play and well blocked.
This is when you get to get out in space if you're an offensive lineman. Watch these interior guys. They're going to get out there on the screen. Dillard does a nice job. Watch all 3 guys. Get a block. 2 guys down there. Here comes Herbig, 67. Get another one. That is what I'm talking about. That's when offensive linemen get to show their athleticism. That's when your mom sees you when you're out running. I used to love when they called screen passes. The only time the announcer would say anything unless they had a holding call.
Adams through the middle, inside the 5-yard line. Should be enough for a 1st down. Down to the 4. After the 18-yard pickup, the run. And it is indeed a 1st down, so 1st and goal now.
Nate Herbig really fills out that helmet, doesn't he? 6'4", 334, 21 years old. He's snapping the ball to McCown. He's the same age as McCown's daughter. How many times has that happened in NFL history?
Not often.
Where the center's the same age as the quarterback's daughter.
McCown wants that touchdown. Oh my. It was there, but it turned Adams around and he couldn't haul it in. Probably did not need to necessarily throw the fastball.
Not a great throw by McCown, but this ball needs to be caught. I mean, it still hits him between the 3s. You'd rather have led him a little bit as he's running an out route there, but Josh Adams needs to catch that, and he would tell you that himself right now. That's not a strength of his. Catching pass there at the backfield. Look at the numbers for McCown. He's had 3 practices.
He's looked good, trying to lead a 2nd touchdown drive here in the 3rd quarter. And I knew there were going to be flags there because there was all kinds of motion before the snap of the football. It's going to be on the Eagles.
Before the snap, false start. Offense number 77. 5-yard penalty. 2nd down.
Scott, stop it. I'm not even looking at you, and I can tell you're looking at me.
Do you know what he's saying right now? He's saying, thank you, Ross Tucker. He's saying, thank you, Ross Tucker. That's his, well, whatever.
I don't care what you say. It's not my fault. By the way, based on how these series have gone, if you had to predict a play right now, what would you say? How about McCown's throwing it up there at the top to Arcega-Whiteside, number 19?
Single coverage, yeah.
That's what I'm going with. Here comes pressure. Throw it up to 19. Let him go get it.
Playing way off him, too. How about the middle of the field to the tight end for a touchdown? Alex Ellis, the 9-yard touchdown catch. And it's now a 26-13 game. Flag on the play. We'll see if it stands. It's going to.
He's going to talk to Doug Peterson, which means Peterson can either take it on the try or on the kickoff.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, defense number 51. The ruling on the field is a touchdown. That 15-yard penalty will be enforced on the kickoff.
I wasn't sure whether or not the Eagles were going to sign a veteran quarterback after Sudfeld and Kessler got hurt, but kind of hard to argue with what McCown has done. Off his back foot, he gets drilled and makes a great throw to Alex Ellis. I doubt McCown even knows that guy's name. I'm not kidding.
Probably not.
I doubt he even knows that guy's name. McCown has been very impressive. You're talking about a team that's only had a quarterback play 16 games twice in the last 15 years. It's kind of crazy how much success they've had considering that.
Eagles are going to have to take a timeout. Play clock was running down.
Timeout, Philadelphia. Their first 30-second timeout.
And they were not set. Hollins was actually trying to explain something to Alex Ellis on the outside. We'll take their time and try to get back on the right page. Drive summary brought to you by Geico. 11 plays, 69 yards. I want to talk about the way the Eagles have turned things around, statistically at least in the second half. Look at that.
Got to be really happy if you're Doug Peterson about the way this team has responded here in the second half and the way this group has responded, and in particular, the way McCown has played. We said it earlier, the Eagles refuse to take any chances at the quarterback position. They are always going to make sure they are covered there because of all the success they've had with backup quarterbacks over the years, most notably, of course, Nick Foles.
Send the man in motion. Right through the middle. Adams for the two-point conversion. Wow. That was almost too easy. So it's back down to an 11-point game now. And if you're looking at this night and looking for your positives, no doubt about the fact that Josh McCown has led this team to the scoreboard and has knocked off the rust.
Alex Ellis, a tight end they signed during camp, scores the touchdown on a beautiful throw for McCown. Then he comes in here and it's a wham play, wham. Peels back and makes the key block. Don't get a whole lot of time to celebrate the touchdown. You got to come in and do the dirty work on the two-point conversion.
And now a flag on the play. Look who made the tackle.
That is unbelievable. That's a hat trick right there for Ellis. I don't think I've ever seen that before. Touchdown, key block on two-point conversion, making the tackle on the kickoff.
He's red hot right now.
During the return, there were 2 fouls by the receiving team. Personal foul, illegal double team block, number 85. Personal foul, illegal double team block, number 88. The first foul is declined. The second penalty will be enforced half the distance to the goal, first down.
Now he needs to get a breather.
No, get him back out there on defense. He's red hot right now.
Left side of your screen, here comes 48. Bam! Oh, man. He's lucky they didn't throw the flag on him there.
He is.
For helmet to helmet.
Yep.
But he was fired up about it. You know, tight end's interesting now, Scott, for the Eagles, because they announced this week Richard Rodgers, projected to be the number 3 tight end, out for a few weeks with a foot injury. Likely moves up Josh Perkins, but Alex Ellis taking his claim.
Well, defense, which is held fast here, allowing just 8 yards in this third quarter, would love to keep Baltimore where they are. 6 yards for Turner on first down.
Can you imagine if the Eagles
win the game?
Came back to win this? The Ravens have won 15 games in a row in the preseason. I mean, they win tonight. They're the 72 Dolphins of the preseason the last 4 years. 16-0.
That was my first thought. looping it himself. McSorley's got nowhere to go. TJ Edwards stayed right with him and throws it for a loss of a yard. So another third down coming up now for Baltimore.
Try not to freak out about these rookies, Scott, but there's a lot of guys making really good plays. That time it was TJ Edwards. He made some last week against Jacksonville. That was a zone read. McSorley pulled the ball, and Edwards hunted him down.
Third down, they've got to get it to the 18-yard line. Pressure coming. McSorley throws it. A flag on the play. It's going to be short of first down yardage by a couple. We'll see about the flag. I think Doug Peterson's going to say no to this.
Offense, number 70. That penalty's declined. The play results in 4th down.
And the Ravens will go 3 and out once again. The Eagles will get the football back.
Singleton's back out there for the Eagles. Here's the thing too. Even if McCown doesn't play anymore, last week Clayton Thorson did some really positive things and basically led the Eagles to the victory over the Jaguars, playing pretty much the whole game. So if Thorson can pick up where he left off last week, Eagles might have a chance to come back in this game.
They've already flipped the script here in the third quarter. And Pumphrey waiting for his blockers. It'll be good field position to begin the drive outside of their own 45-yard line. Offense here in this third quarter. Arcega-Whiteside. Then once again Arcega-Whiteside adjusting to the football. And a beauty of a throw for a touchdown.
Josh McCown. I mean, he's unconscious right now. And now Thorson's in. 5th round pick out of Northwestern. Came in last week and led the Eagles to the win. They now have some different younger offensive linemen in there as well.
And it's Adams. Grinded it out across the 48-yard line for a pickup of about 3.
How good of a feeling is that for Josh McCown right there? You know, it was a tough decision for him, Scott, just in the sense that it's really not about the money at this point.
I think the conversation there is, yes, sir. No, sir. Absolutely, sir. I mean, 16 years older than he is.
19, 40, and 21, right?
Oh, that's right, yeah. Adams not a whole lot there.
Wow.
So 3rd down and 6. 192 yards.
Well, and that's the thing. I even said to him, you know, you've made plenty of money at this point. Did you just want to spend time with your family? And he said it was perfect timing because the last 8 months, all he did was spend time with his family. When they finally called me, he was ready.
Well, he got an opportunity to come out here tonight, get his team on the scoreboard. We're going to go to the 4th quarter, and right now it's still a ball game.
How about just the player of the game, or the 3 plays in a row by Alex Ellis? The touchdown catch, the 2-point conversion block, and then the big-time tackle on kickoff. He's trying to stay. One way or the other, he's trying to stay here in Philadelphia. I love when young guys like that make plays. Even if he doesn't make the roster, whatever ends up happening with him, at least he can feel good about how he performed with the opportunities he was given.
Start the 4th quarter with the Eagles facing a 3rd and 6. Delay blitz coming. Thorson's throw off the hands of Agadosi. He had a first down if he could haul it in, but he did not. And the punting unit is going to come out for the Birds.
Thorson not able to keep the momentum going that McCown had, unfortunately. Let's see if the defense can get another stop as the rain's coming down harder now.
It is.
Now you are seeing people head for the exits or head for cover.
Irvin calling for a fair catch, and he'll make it just inside his own 10. 40 yards on the punt with no return. Hey, thanks for all the great photos, and continue using the hashtag Eagles everywhere to be featured on a future broadcast.
Look at that, the boys' first Eagles game. That is cool.
Idaho. Puerto Rico. Saskatchewan. Well, not even close to Winnipeg. New Orleans. Wow. And Shanghai.
I still remember my first Eagles game. Jaworski was the quarterback, but Randall Cunningham would come in on 3rd and long in the 700 level at the vet with my dad.
Jaws was watching us tonight at his golf club. You know where I learned that?
Twitter.
Yeah.
There you go, Scott.
New quarterback in the game now, a familiar face. As Joe Callahan takes over for the Ravens. Spent time here with the Eagles last year. Remember facing him when he was with the Packers in a preseason game.
Another South Jersey kid.
Yep. Played one NFL game as a replacement for Aaron Rodgers when he was with the Packers. A lot of movement for not a whole lot of result. No gain on the play. 3rd down once again coming up for Baltimore.
There's that guy again, TJ Edwards. A lot of white jerseys flying around. They got a lot of young guys in now. Wilkins, Sharif Miller, young and hungry.
So 3rd down and 3. And it is raining steadily. Callahan trying to get away, and he does. Brought a 1st down. Scrambling his way out to the 23-yard line to move the sticks.
It is just so valuable to have quarterbacks that can do that. Was not great pressure by the front 4. There's a hole there. And Chitu just not athletic enough to be able to make the play on Callahan. Be curious to see how often Carson Wentz does that this year. You don't need a lot. You really just need to pick up 1, maybe 2 1st downs a game with your legs and then get down, get out of bounds. And Wentz can absolutely do that.
That was Baltimore's first 1st down of the 2nd half. And sweeping out left side, Tyler Ervin not going to find much room.
TJ Edwards again. Can't say I'm surprised. Take a look at him, middle of your screen. Watch him scrape to the right, fight off blocks, gets off, stiff arms the guy, makes the play. Singleton gets in there as well. Both those young guys have done a nice job this preseason. Edwards and Singleton. And they've gotten some time because the Eagles' top 2 linebackers, Nigel Bradham and Camus Grugier-Hill, have both been hurt.
2nd down. Callahan trying to get away, and he will not. Oh, he will. How about that? Ultimately, an incomplete pass. Aziz Shitu had him and then lost him.
He can't believe that. Shitu Jr. cannot believe that. Watch him right here. He does what he's supposed to do. He's being doubled, so you sit and you try to watch the quarterback. Watch him grab him. He's got him right there. Callahan's a slippery sucker.
Uh-oh. Ross?
Is that a lightning bolt?
Yep. Ross, I think we've come to an end of this portion of our game. There's still 11:43 left to go on the clock here in the 4th quarter, but there was a flash of lightning, not a loud bolt of thunder that came with it, but a flash of lightning, and that is going to mean that the field will be cleared of players immediately. While we're sitting back and taking some time, let's listen to some sounds from camp from none other than Carson Wentz. The score has become final now. The Ravens 26-15 winners. The remainder of tonight's game has been terminated due to safety concerns for the players and for the fans here at Lincoln Financial Field. And while we were away, another big lightning strike. Clearly, with the rain coming down the way it is, safety concerns prevail in this situation. And so we come to the end of the game prematurely, playing a little bit more than 3 quarters. But when you look at what happened in that second half for the Eagles on both sides of the football, there was some promise after a very rough first half.
Well, they certainly ended on a high note with the way especially Josh McCown and J.J. Arcega-Whiteside played in the third quarter. Obviously, the defense did a nice job as well, but the highlight was Josh McCown just dropping it in the bucket to Arcega-Whiteside. Then you see the hands and the quick change of direction, reversing field by Arcega-Whiteside. Then another touchdown from McCown, this time to Alex Ellis. He came in with the wham block on the 2-point conversion, and then right after that, he had the triple play right there. 3 plays in a row, number 48. One of the real highlights there of the third quarter.
That is completely a tale of 2 halves for what the Eagles did, and realized the second half was really just the third quarter. So things did turn around in a big way, and if you're taking away what you want to take away from tonight as an Eagles fan, you realize the backup quarterback that you just brought in has shaken the rust off. He may not be ready to go yet. He's still working with a limited playbook, but that is a very good first step. And there were some others who showed some good promise from tonight.
Most important guys tonight, McCown, Corey Clement, certainly Rodney McLeod, all showed very well. The first string offensive line went out there and was generally outstanding. So the guys that got out there for the first time that we wanted to see all did well, even though the Eagles struggled in the first half.
And so this one does come to an end early because of weather concerns. That leaves one more game. That, of course, is going to be coming your way next week. Next Thursday, 7 p.m., the Eagles cap off the preseason against the Jets. Stay tuned to NBC 10, the postgame show, or go to PhiladelphiaEagles.com. For Dave Spadaro, Ross Tucker, I'm Scott Graham. Good night from Lincoln Financial Field. The final score, 26-15.